What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Zero to Hero. In the last episode, you saw us win out at PSG back-to-back Champions Leagues, of course, and we have a new journey, we have a new club, and it is, of course, Napoli in Serie A. We have yet to explore Italy, and I am, well, very excited to start a new life or start a new career at Napoli, because not only is it a new league, a new club, but it is a club that has a different system, so that means a different formation for sure. And also on top of that, Napoli last season did actually finish sixth. So this might be a club that we stay at for a season or so, or 2 or 3 seasons perhaps, depending on how difficult it is to win. Of course, the kind of goal or the aim is to win all that we can in Italy. That includes the Serie A, and however long that takes is however long we'll be at the club. So, we've got a couple of positions to climb, so to speak, on the basis of last season, which I will show you guys here. Oh, okay, actually, never mind. They were sixth when I was doing the interview. Okay, no, that must have been wrong. Sorry, ignore me. They actually finished third. Maybe they were 4 around that, because they actually got a lot of points. I didn't realise. Okay, ignore me. They did finish third, so still got some way to climb to get to Juventus. You can see quite a big jump, and we'll see when was the last time that Napoli did win the league here. So, okay, so they got four. Wait, let me just double check. I'm not being silly. So they got third, then they got third again, then they got fourth, and then sixth. Okay, maybe some reason I checked this season. I don't know why, but yeah. So they've yet to finish, and then sixth again, and then third, and then third. Oh my god. Okay, so the last time that they won or were champions was 2025. So of course we are in the year 2033 now. So it's been quite a couple of seasons since Napoli have won the Serie A, but our job here is to, of course, get that done. Now, a big reason as to why I joined Napoli, those of you that may ask. Now, I did get interviews with Arsenal, but of course I've already been in England, so no point in going there. And I did get I tried to get an interview with RB Leipzig, but I think the game glitched or something because it didn't want to give me the interview. Like, the job was up for a day, and they said the interview process was over. So, yeah, but a big reason as to why I wanted to join Napoli is because they own one of my favourite players in real life at the moment, and that is Miguel Gutierrez. And as soon as I saw him at Napoli sorry, I was like, okay, let's go. They also have Shimas of, I think he's at Brighton in real life at the moment, who is an interesting prospect. And I have had a quick look in the tactics screen. Now, as you can see, I have set up a 5 at the back formation at the moment, and the reason for this is because, of course, Napoli play a 5 at the back in real life. Now, you guys will know my sort of mission, aim, whatever you want to call it, is to try and replicate the sort of system that they play in real life. On the game. So of course PSG and Liverpool both play a 4-3-3 most of the time. So hence why we run that sort of system, and I kind of like it being the club's philosophy, and then I try and integrate my style through team instructions, player picks, and that sort of stuff. So we keep a shape similar to what they have in real life, and then we just implement our philosophy in terms of like instructions and personnel and that sort of stuff. Now you can see I've kind of picked out a few players here. And I will say this is very much a foundation that we are laying. This is not a set in stone 100% what we're going to play. This is more of like this is kind of what they play in real life. I think actually at the moment they play a bit of they kind of play this shape, but they have like Politano, and I can't remember the other man that plays in the middle. But but of course players like that can play in that system in real life. But I think on Football Manager wingers can't really play as cam, and we have these wingers are pretty much too good to play in that sort of narrow shape. So, yeah, the only thing we almost definitely, well, very likely will change is the midfielders, as they are both in and out of possession DMs at the moment. However, I've identified that having looked at some of the players in the squad here, for example, Urbanski is just not the best DM. Although we could actually say in that he's actually pretty good. We just need to maybe manage him to be, or perhaps box to box playmaker is not the one for him. Box to box midfielder, maybe he needs to be a box to box playmaker instead. But yeah, essentially what I've done is sort of gone into the tactics and identify players that slot in nicely. As you can see, these players pretty much go in, no questions asked. So looking at some of the other players here, here are players that are on the bench at the moment that I do want to get involved in the team. So Urbanski almost certainly will be playing. Fernandez, someone I identified to look decent as well, and then yeah, it's going to be hard to pronounce that name, but a very good striker to rotate with Shimas, that's for sure. And yeah, so these three are like almost definitely going to be playing as well. And then here are the remainders essentially of players that definitely can play. It's just like I haven't identified them as like um, stars or players, important players essentially. So players like Moretti, who I know is very good, but he almost definitely will play, but it's like not an absolute necessity to have him in, but does look very good. And then Boving as well. I know quite good in real life as well at the moment, but again, someone that looks good, but maybe necessarily doesn't really suit our system at the moment. So yeah, something to think about. Who else did I? And then a couple of these are obviously regens, so I have to have a little look into how good they are. Um, but yeah, so we've got players like Fresnader as well, who doesn't look too bad. So yeah, essentially we've got a decent squad on our hands here, as you would expect when you join Napoli, and we've already identified kind of a shape we want to play. Of course, we might change a few things. I think mainly would be probably the DMs or centre mids, maybe. Yeah, but anyway, we've identified where we want to go with Napoli, and now all I'm going to be doing is sorting out training schedules, and also something I haven't looked at yet is the staff. Yes, almost definitely, I'm going to need to nuke all of everyone here and probably buy a new staff contingency, and then I just need to implement all of the things such as yeah, do you know what? It would probably be good if every club I go to, I don't really show you guys my process. So do you know what? Instead of cutting up this video here today, I am actually just going to go through the process with you guys, because you guys might be perhaps starting your own save or joining clubs and you don't know where to go or what to do, and I can just show you guys what I do rather than cutting up this video loads today. Yeah, maybe I'll just show you me setting up the club, no cuts, and yeah, of course the start of the league will be in the next video. That's how I tend to do it here on Zero to Hero, sort of like one big video when we join. Well, when we join a club, we do one big video of me setting everything up, and then the games in the next one. So yeah. In today's video, we're going to be doing setting up the club, and yeah, if you're here for gameplay, then you'll have to wait until next video to do so. So yeah, so a good thing to do initially, and this is what I have already done whilst I haven't recorded, is go into the first team, have a little look at, what did we look at? We looked at, oh yeah, I'm already on it, playing time here in this tab, and then I just organised the players that already are expecting, pretty much I wanted to see who the star players and important players were. That being said, this guy is joining, wait, he's joining next year, interesting. So he's on loan, joining Napoli. Okay, yeah, I don't know what has happened here, but Oh my god, he's a 6'7", fairly professional. Oh my god, yeah. Wow, he's a very good centre half. Maybe not a ball playing one. Maybe just a centre back. But yeah, wow, he's very good. This obviously I haven't made any signings or anything like this. This is me just looking at what we've got here at the club at the moment. Um, and then yeah, so usually what I tend to do after this is go into training and just do the first couple of weeks of my pre-season like schedule, as you can see here. This preseason schedule is just pretty much extremely focused on familiarity with the formation. So I'll come in. Pretty much the first thing I do is set the tactic. Come in and then I pretty much put preseason, and I'll put it all the way to the first game probably of just doing the training because I don't want to bore you guys of me just doing that the whole time. So I've got 3 or 4 weeks of pre-season and then a Saturday first match against Torino. Um, so yeah, that is essentially the first thing we'll do. Now we have joined the club a little bit later than usually you join a club just before pre-season starts, but we've missed the first week or so, which is not the end of the world. I tend to then put training intensity to double for the people that are fully fit because it usually means that they haven't played. So I'm happy for them to be training hard if they've not played a match. Then I'll come into the training screen saying that probably should be focusing on my staff first. But yeah, actually, you know what? We are going to do that. So it's always good to check your staff, and the reason for that is because, of course, these are the guys that are giving you advice and telling you kind of like who's good and who's bad. So you need them to obviously be good, because otherwise they're going to give you poor advice. So my system manager probably the most important. Wow, so probably the most important staff you can get in Football Manager, and as you can see, he is god awful. So my first, I'm not gonna. Yeah, we'll do mutual actually. Um, do you know what? Probably a lot of these are not the greatest, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mutually terminate. Uh, okay, but I think we can find better. Um, yeah, so a lot of these are kind of like coaches that are definitely decent, don't get me wrong. This guy's good enough to stay. Um, but yeah, essentially this is what I would do if I were you guys, is go through all of your staff and just see are they to the level. Most of the time if you're joining a club, they're probably not quite good enough. But you can see there, only a couple of them are um, essentially good enough to actually stay. Recruitment side is kind of a little bit less important, to be honest. But again, you do want to go through and check. He's not really the best either. Um, yeah, so probably, to be honest, just nuking the entire. Um, yeah, he's okay. Can't be bothered to find a better one than that. That's okay. He's not the best. So yeah, going through all of your staff is pretty much like the first thing I would do at most clubs. Just make sure you've got, like, that guy is just awful. Make sure everyone is at least to a decent level. He is not very good either. He's pretty decent. Oh, it's Conte. I was gonna say he looks pretty decent. Yeah, well that's why, it's because it's Conte. There we go. And the rest is that's fine. The medical team. Now, we'll say a little bit of advice with a medical team is you can get so many good. There's so many good medical staff that even if you have a very good guy, you could, like this guy, you think, oh, very good. But honestly, you can get elites. You can get elite level physios quite easily. So, like this guy's elite, that's fine. Yeah, he's not very good either, and he is also very poor. But there we go. So now that I have essentially nuked the entire backroom staff, I will now go out and identify who I would like to be filling these positions. I will say, obviously, this costs the club money, but to me, I think that the like this is more important to me than signing players. And I know that might sound a bit crazy um, to some football manager players. Some football managers might be heavily focused on um, signings, for example, which is fair enough. But for me, way like staff is like takes main priority for me. So setting code of conduct. The main thing for me is straight reds. I like them to be 2 weeks, 2 weeks of wages if it's for the third time, because at that point you should have learnt your lesson. The rest of it, I'm happy to stay with the default essentially. And now we have nuked our background staff, we can start to look into fill in some of these roles. And you can see coaching. This is the most important one, to be honest. So we'll try and fill this out ASAP. And all we've got at the moment is a fitness coach, so we have to bear that in mind. So a assistant manager, we need a very good assistant manager. That is no questions about that. So you go to staff database, edit. You can see I've already been in here at some point. Assistant manager. We need someone who is going to be here. Okay, so we can't get that. We'll go to very good. Make sure your staff interested. Well, staff is for the first team as well. So we've got Nata. Oh, she was. I'm pretty sure she was my assistant manager at PSG. Yeah, she was my assistant manager at PSG. So we could employ the same assistant manager, but we're gonna see what else is. Oh, he's very good, Peter. He's got a club though, so might be a bit um, tough to try and get him out of his contract, but we could offer. So Peter's the only other manager that is, or assistant manager that is better. So we'll go for him, see if he accepts. If not, then we can get Natalie, who we just had, which is interesting. So, and then we'll go for coaches up next because again, quite important to get them in ASAP because we're already in pre-season. So, these are the main three, the magical three, if you like, for coaches. So for me, as long as them three are good, then the rest fit around it. So this guy is pretty good to be honest, and he would be employed as the defending coach essentially. So we'll go ahead and get him nice and easily. Then we've got, oh, this man we had at PSG. Interesting. Um, he's okay for sure. He's okay. He did very decent as well. Oh, Cazorla looks very good. We'll get him. Very, very good. And then we've got Michael Bradley, not very good. Okay, so maybe we'll go for the one we had at PSG as well. Just nick their background stuff, and then mm, he's okay, but yeah. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll maybe. Do you know what? I'm going to leave it there for coaches. We do need to get more, of course, but for now, we'll go with that. Then we'll have a look at fitness coaches. He's very good, not very good, pretty good. Wow, okay, very, very good. Okay, so we'll approach to sign one of these. And then also Marseille really have they have the ones that we want. So we're actually going to go for 3 fitness coaches, to be honest. Fitness coach quite important, of course, and then we're going to go for probably 2 set piece coaches. Average. Oh, he's insane. Wow, and he's from a rival club in the Serie A. And I am going to go for another one, but we're going to put it to good. Good, good, no, no, okay. So essentially, this is what I'll be doing now is getting all of these staff filled out, and you've seen the process of me going through each of these now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doing this essentially. You guys get the picture for the stuff, and I'm going to cut now to then the next steps. Okay, so just spent some time doing the stuff as you guys have seen, and now I'm loading in routines. Again, these are all routines that actually no, let's go with that. These are all routines that I have um, pretty much used through every club that we've been at on this save. Again, these are just nothing like that crazy in terms of like them, if you get me. Like nothing, yeah, nothing too crazy. Just going through loading everything in terms of yeah, what kind of set pieces that you guys want to use. And I'll be honest, I'm no expert at set pieces, so essentially, if you guys want proper ones, then I recommend probably just going to a tutorial or something like that. For set pieces, and that would be like the next step in joining a new club and what you're doing. But yeah, I think for me, the only thing that might change club to club is this one for sure. Will be like if you have a long throw dude, and I'm about to find out if we have one here. So Gutierrez can definitely do that, no problem. 13 is decent. Not insane though, and then Freshnada on the other side is not too bad. So yeah, okay. Well, we might make new signings anyways, but we'll put them in for now. So if you've got a guy that's like decent at long throws, then go for long throws. If you are not very good, if you don't have a long throw dude, self-explanatory. Go for work into the box. So yeah, essentially what we've done is identified the tactic that we want to use. Then we've gone over and tried to implement. Well, obviously it's still a process, but nuked essentially the staff and got new staff in. We've just done set pieces there. So we've done the tactic, staff, set pieces. What would I do next as I've just joined a club? Is I think this is sort of the second stage of the tactic building where you go, okay, let me truly identify who will go where, because this will also help you not only in the transfer window but also training, which is sort of the next stage. Now, I wouldn't bother going into the training and doing the training side of things until you've done all your stuff, so I'm not going to bother doing that just yet. But we do need to still be active in the transfer window because no doubt we'll need to sign a few players. So now it's time to identify where we are our weakest. Now, I do think Abansky is going to be playing in this midfield, but we do need to play him in more of a role that would suit him. Biongiorno is left-footed, so we'll play him on the left side of the centre halves. We've got the winger who looks very good, Allison as well, and then Shimas in there. And I think these guys are all fine. Abansky is going to be playing as perhaps a box-to-box playmaker as opposed to a box-to-box midfielder, which is fine. Then we've got Hule Fernandez, who perhaps can sit alongside him. Again, perhaps better suited to that same role as Abansky. So instead, we're going to treat Fernandez as a rotation to Abansky. And then we've got the backup striker there. So these are pretty much nailed. Now we need to dive in deeper to the remaining. Now this guy, I'm going to instantly put him into the under 20s because he is not good enough to play for us. This guy as well is not the greatest, so again could be backup goalkeeper actually, but I don't even think he's good enough for that. So under 20s for me, just to get him out of my way. Then we've got a fairly determined striker who could be good rotation, but probably only used if we get injuries, but he's fairly professional, so I assume he's going to be okay with that. Then we've got a left-footed DM, so as things stand, he is actually our best left-sided DM at the moment. Of course, we Need to have a look at everyone. He's not the best. He's too small for me. So again, 5'8", quite important. Like obviously every manager is different, but 5'8" centre half is never really going to cut it for me. Could potentially become a DM one day, but that one day will not come soon enough for my time here. Moretti is almost definitely going to be a DM. Now he isn't left-footed, which is a bit frustrating. Which means we'll have two right-footed DMs, which is not really the best, but yeah, we'll have to see if one of them has a decent left foot, because they both potentially are going to be our starting DMs. Mario Martin looks very good as well, actually. Another right-footed DM who looks very good. Frey Schneider, yeah, almost certainly going to be our starting right back for now. Um, Again, okay, so this team actually has a good depth in DM from what I've seen so far. So this is why it's quite important to go through your squad, of course, is mainly just to identify where you're lacking in depth. So is this guy... Okay, so I think he was on loan to Napoli. Oh, I'm so confused, but I'm guessing he's our player. Yeah, so we'll use that centre half as well. Not the best. So also, the reason why it's important to do this now is because, of course, the personnel you have at the club could change your tactic. Maybe not the philosophy of it, but maybe wow, very good DM actually. He's going to be one that I definitely use as rotation. But yeah, it could change the maybe not the philosophy of the tactic, but it could change the like the roles and things like that. This guy would be a good wing back if he was better offensively, which is kind of frustrating because he's not. He could be a centre back maybe, but okay. And then we've got it's technically awful, but um, his dribbling is insanely low. But his physicals are very good. But this is the type of guy that's potentially good rotation as well. Okay, so we've gone through. We have a majorly low amount of fullbacks in terms of rotation and things like that. But we've identified a few players that can come into the team here. I'm thinking Moretti kind of has to go in there. It's a shame to see. Shame to see no McTominay. What a shame, eh? So Moretti is going to be the one playing on the left side, no problems. Now, is he best suited to this role? Yeah, he can do a job. He can do a job. Then out of possession, we're asking them. Oh, why have they gone in the? Okay, there we go. Out of possession, Abansky, he just doesn't like defending, does he? So do you know what? He's gonna have to deal with that, to be honest. There we go. That's fine. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Then we can definitely add this man who will go right in the middle, and he will almost certainly not be a ball playing defender. He is going to be a just just a centre half. I think potentially could be a no nonsense, but we're going to just keep him at centre half. We do not want him to do too much with the ball, as his passing and things like that is not the greatest. But he is 6'7" and goes perfectly in that central centre half position. And then, so basically, at this point, I've identified, um, especially where we're lacking, which urgently is definitely not striker. We're good for strikers. Um, this guy. Oh no, sorry, he's going to be a DM. He's going to be the striker. So we have instantly Urbanski's rotation is fine, and Shimas' rotation is more than fine. Then we have a left. Then we have to kind of decide. Okay, is this guy going to be good backup centre half? Essentially, at the moment, definitely beyond Giorno's rotation there sorted. Then we've got Martin. Actually, to be honest, he's probably got to be playing, hasn't he? He's probably way better suited to this role as well that I'm asking them to do. Defensive midfielder, box to box. Yeah, box to box playmaker. No, box to box midfielder. Defensive mid. Okay, so Martin has to be playing. Is that where is he the one from? Oh no, he has been here. Okay, so and that kind of means Abansky comes out, perhaps. Because I do like Moretti as well. So yeah, Abansky's an interesting one. Maybe something we have to think about there. And then we've essentially narrowed it down now to who's going to be the rotating DM. Which actually, to be honest, we can actually easily use both of these. Again, this guy might be one that is almost better suited to the role than it's gonna be close. That DM spot is completely covered. So yeah, the next best thing to do is of course go through your squad, identify where you need to improve because of course it will be the transfer window, and I've identified that we need again I need to go through it properly in terms of backups, but we definitely need a right-sided centre back, and we definitely don't need DMs or a striker, and perhaps then outside of that, all we need is potentially backups, but of course I need to go through the youth system and things like that for backups because if we can use these players, obviously there's going to be a few in here that I've missed out, but essentially we're going to use these players like Boving is going to be backup, but I'm going to try and perhaps think about coaching them into a more suited role that would help. So, for example, here I'm going to use pretty much going to use him as the backup left-sided player as opposed to a striker or things like that. So identifying, yeah, essentially backups at that stage, but at least we know this is the on paper this is the best starting team that we have currently, and that then helps us identify where we need to improve in the transfer window because then a lot of these players can then become backup players. So yeah, and that is how we are starting things at Napoli. Very long-winded, I know. Just trying to take you guys through pretty much everything in terms of starting things up before the season, of course. And there's not been much action in this one because I decided to do a little bit of a different style, I guess, in this first intro video to the club. Usually we just say this is where we're starting, these are all the players we have, and then sign a couple of players, and then we just start the season off. But I thought, you know what, there might be some people. There might be some people watching this video that perhaps are not like that into Football Manager or they don't know what's going on. So I thought maybe let me just talk about what's going through my mind and my brain, and then essentially in the next episode I'll be showing you guys the improvements that we make to the side in terms of signings, and then also I'll be showing you guys the start of the season and that sort of thing. So this is kind of the quote unquote boring stuff that I don't usually include in videos because I try to cut them all up to just show the interesting parts. But I thought, you know what, let's mix it up and let's put one out there that is more of a kind of like a tutorial, or at least talking you guys through my thought process when it comes to joining a club. And you can see here we have had two very interesting offers, both from Chelsea. Okay, so so in this instance he's saying basically you have to sell me to Chelsea, which is fair enough. And actually, you know what? I think I am going to just accept as well because I don't want to. The problem I've learned I've learned from my mistake. I am going to just sell him and not negotiate because the amount of times I've negotiated and then they've just cancelled the deal, and then I'm stuck with a player who doesn't want to play here. Um, and again, same with Shimas. Again, these are two players that were initially in the side, but then all I have to do is go, okay, you don't want to play here anymore, and you don't want to play here anymore, and then we just know, yeah, we essentially know where we're at in terms of the squad. So now I'll look at this and then I'll go, all right, goalkeeper, centre back, that's what we need now, right? So, yeah, essentially this is all I'm going to be doing between now and the next video, and building up the squad and trying to get to the first game week. But yeah, you guys have seen my thought process, how I join teams, what I'm doing, how I go about my order of priority, so to speak, and yeah, that is the process. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video here today. If you have, show me by leaving a like, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you guys in a future video. Peace.